Weekly Magazine Era 1421 August. Combined issue, Asahi Shimbun Publishing, featuring professional figure skater Yuzuru Hanyu, who announced his marriage on August 4th, was released on the 7th. This issue was a hot topic even before its release, and it was decided that it would be reprinted before its release, which is unusual for a weekly magazine. The reprints are also said to be lined up in shops and online bookstores. They say that you are too beautiful. Yuzuru Hanyu posted an image of Era on the cover. Also published is an engraving and a long interview with Mr. Hanyu. In an interview, he talked about what he got from participating in many ice shows, and about his thoughts for the future. Cover art and prints by photographer Mika Ninagawa. On August 4th JST, two-time Olympic champion and professional figure skater Yuzuru Hanyu, 28, announced his surprise wedding, which surprised fans around the world and brought them to tears at the same time. Especially in China, which boasts of the popularity of idols. This is too sudden, and how can I express this feeling? Even now I think it's a lie. I have Hanyu𝃵 syndrome. Summary of symptoms. Lots of posts with tearful images like insomnia, loss of appetite, lots of voices from enthusiastic fans feeling a sense of loss. The magnitude of this shock was not only caused by Hanyu's ability and popularity, but also by the fact that there was no prior information, such as reports of his romance or relationship statements. In addition, the lack of mention of a marriage partner led to further speculation. On the other hand, some people praised this shocking statement, saying, as expected of Yuzuru Hanyu, this is a beautiful God's answer. He is an NHK spokesperson who has been reporting for many years. You can see that Hanyu is fully aware that he looks like an idol. This time in the Twitter announcement I'm going to sign up, it's just a pre-announcement to the fans. Information about their partner, and basically wrote down their feelings of gratitude towards their fans, and their passion for figure skating. It's an old saying, but since you're an idol, you should always consider the feelings of the fans first. At the same time Mr. Hanyu did not announce this through the media, but through SNS, which is directly reported to fans. It is not clear how big the time difference is. However, at least this is in the form of a report before filing a marriage registration. It's an ironclad rule for idols to hide information about the other side as much as possible, unless the other side is a celebrity. However, there are people who loudly shout loss of Chania. But it seems that there are still more people who are saved by his care. In fact, in X Twitter, I haven't missed anything important since I turned pro. Yuzuru held a solo show, performed at the Tokyo Dome, performed with the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra, and suffered an injury on the same day. I'm surprised how much he defended this marriage, and I'm glad I got the report from Yuzuru Hanyu. Many people were moved by the content of the report, saying, "Isn't that strange? That there are people who fell for this." And some of them told the media, fans are not interested in Yuzuru Hanyu's wife at all. I don't want to know an inch about Yuzuru Hanyu's personal life. There was also a calling voice. However, it is the details of the other side that attract the attention of non-fans. When the opponent is clear, loss of Hanyu seems to spread further. On this day, we took up Yuzuru Hanyu, who announced his marriage. Also presented is the marriage announcement document announced by Mr. Hanyu. To this, Mr. Furichi said, "This is a consideration." He didn't mention anything about marriage other than "I'm going to register." Just because he was there, I think he took into account the scary world of figure skating. Takahiro Nishioka immediately corrected, saying, "I'm not scared. It's warm here." Murakami, a figure skater, also said "I don't know," and said he didn't know about the marriage announcements. He then yelled, "I'm fighting on the front lines, so I think it's important to have people around to support me." I was surprised when I heard this news, but I was very happy. I want them to be happy. Mr. Furichi then retorted to Murakami, "Did you hear about it from the news?" Murakami said, "I am very nervous." Murakami said with a wry smile, "I really don't know everyone." Rakugo narrator Shiraku Tadakawa, 59, appeared on the TBS series Hirobi on August 7th. He commented on the marriage of professional figure skater Yuzuru Hanyu, who won 2 consecutive victories at the Winter Olympics in Sochi and Pyeongchang, who announced his shock marriage. On the other hand, although the ad is 18 lines long, only the first sentence is related to marriage. It is noteworthy that he does not mention a key marriage partner at all. Regarding Hanyu's marriage partner, Shiraku commented, "Some media will start asking, who is the other side?" Kane, guessing Hanyu's feelings. He addressed the media and the public. "Don't you think it's possible to just watch him without being so vulgar?" Recently, marriage reports of celebrities such as Nicole Fujita and Yuzuru Inaba and Yuzuru Hanyu have been coming in one after another. While the world is excited about the holiday news, it's undeniable that the number of single people is on the rise, as evidenced by the yearly rise in the number of never married people in Japan. Either you don't want to get married or you can't get married. We asked Koji Mata, 57, who has been called the last famous single comedian, what he thinks about marriage among single men. The declining birth rate has become a social problem, but the number of unmarried and late marriages is also a major problem. What do you think of marriage, Mr. Mata? Koji Mata. Somehow, I became the symbol of those who never marry. I myself want to get married, but I can't, so I can only say. It's dangerous, and all the time I think, what should I do? I'm losing my patience. I advised Takui, a member of Lone Kai, Yoshimoto Kaju's group of single comedians, and tutorial, the scenery changes after you turn 50, so you should get married before you turn 50. Uncle category. People in their 50s will be the first to receive the association of an old man, laughs. What's happened? But if you feel like it, can you marry? Koji Mata. I think if someone is okay, maybe we can get married. But in fact it is difficult, because you have to fall in love. Even if you like me, you don't like the other person. Temperatures may not match. I think that single people are probably a little more aware of this, but when they get married, the people around them will think, I married such a person, and the world will be convinced that that's why I got married. That's why he's still unmarried. I wonder if I should be the kind of person who gives. It gets troublesome again and becomes, well, okay. The feeling that I really want to get married and the feeling that being single is okay go back and forth, contradicting each other. That's why I still haven't married, and maybe this trend has intensified with age. There's a saying, get married while you are young, but this can be very important. But I don't have energy. Excessive scrutiny and doing something like nitpicking. That's why I try to convince myself by looking for negative things. It should definitely be more fun to think about the pros, but it still loses out to the cons. I feel like I'm accumulating negative points, like if I don't get married, I won't be able to go out at night anymore. What do you think about the common sense values that we should get married and we should raise children? Koji Mata. No, I think it would be better if there was some pressure. As long as we live in a group called society, I think there's nothing to be done when we are told, it's time to get married. If I don't say things like, everyone is different, so don't say things like that, I usually don't, so that's the right thing to do. I realized I was that age and brushed off the pressure, so I was single. Are you not married yet? Or were you still doing this? But I didn't break. I want to praise myself for that, laughs. Some young people, in particular, think that marriage and parenting is a risk. What do you think about it? Koji Mata. When people go out, they rarely say things like I'm so happy or my family is the best, even if they are. If you talk about negative aspects or self-deprecating things and the place gets busy, you say me and talk about your family's dissatisfaction at the moment. In everyday life, 9 is happiness, but I'm just looking for 1 dissatisfaction and make a snack with alcohol out of it. To be honest, there are a lot of other funny things, but when I drink and only talk about funny things about my family, people are like, are you bragging? But I wonder if single boys are fooled by this. I think there is probably a lot of good in getting married. I'm sorry to ask this question, but you'll be told all sorts of things if you don't get married. What do you think about it? Koji Mata. Well, I'm an artist, so it's not funny why I'm not married, but I have a switch that I need to talk about. It would be nice if you could just leave me alone, but I can't do that due to the nature of my job. Even if you ask me why I'm not getting married, I think, I want to know this, or why shouldn't you? I don't actually have an answer either, so it's hard to explain.